Hi, I'm Peter Criff, Executive Director of the Statewide Independent Living Council.
Hi, and my name is Sarah Launderville. I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Center for Independent Living.
And our two organizations together are responsible for writing the Statewide Independent Living Plan, which is a 3-year plan that guides programs and services for people with disabilities throughout Vermont.
We invite you to come out to one of our community forums to provide your input, or join us on our Facebook page, or call us at our 1-800 number.
And today, we're going to share some issues with you, and we'd like your input.
Well, why don't we start with housing? That seems to be a very big access issue. And what are the kinds of questions that people would be thinking about or answering when they shared their view and informed the plan?
Well, part of what we're trying to do here is talk about how you can give your feedback. And what we've done is we've brought up these issues that are basically the current issues for people, and we've tried to have a few questions, like to say, well, you could give feedback on a question like this, or you could think about something like this, maybe have something to say about it. So we've done a few questions, but again, we encourage your input, your ideas. So, you know, just to start, one of the first questions is it easy for you to find accessible housing? And here's another question. Is there accessible housing that's integrated into your community? You know, that's actually a great one for feedback, because that's actually an actionable item, really. You know, one of the issues that was discussed in our last plan is that if housing modifications are needed, what do you think that you might need to live independently? And are there, if such supports are available, are they hurting you or helping you? So those are some of the issues.
Is housing discrimination a problem for folks with disabilities?
Yeah, at VCL we get a lot of calls from folks that have been discriminated against, whether seeking housing or in housing units, and that they're not accessible, or other issues around service animals, things like that. So definitely one of some of the work that we do at VCL is around fair housing work, and we'd love to hear examples of what discrimination people are experiencing in the community as well.
And for the plan is, what do you think that would actually help make that better? Because that's really the kind of thing that would go in the plan, not as much. You know, we'd like to know about all the discrimination issues, but let's. What kind of programs or ideas can we work on to make that better?
So education is another issue, access to education, and what happens once you're within the educational system. So what are some of the questions folks might be responding to in the area of education?
Well, I think one of the first ones is, are there any physical barriers left towards someone you know or yourself getting a real good education? And another one that you might want to think about is, are people with disabilities able to easily take out educational loans? That one's a tough one.
Why is that tough?
Well, we've heard from college students who have not been able to take out a loan. Sometimes because of a disability, somebody can only take 1 or 2 classes at a time, and because of that are not eligible for some of the federal loan programs. And so we're working on that at a systems level, but it would be great to hear feedback around how that actually impacts our community. Yeah.
Other questions folks might consider in the area of education?
Well, I think one of the projects that our two organizations have been working on for quite a long time has to do with exclusion of people with disabilities in school. And so we have a curriculum that we've been working on, the Pride curriculum, and you know, it's just beginning to take hold, but it has to do with inclusion and you know, not things like bullying. And so, you know, people could respond to inclusion issues on how they thought that was going. So that's a big one for education.
And I think the other thing we want to hear is around individual education plans and from parents, how they're experiencing the school system when the child that you have needs an accommodation in a classroom, and what does that look like, and how the administration works with you around those plans.
Other ways that people might know those programs are IEPs or also 504 plans. So we want to hear some feedback about that or questions about how to make those better.
So healthcare, I imagine, is a significant issue for folks in the disability community. And what sort of feedback are you looking for? Do you want to hear what they think about the governor's new healthcare plan?
Sure, and I think broader than that. I think that experiences that people have right in the community, so that can lead into what work is done. So sometimes we hear about folks' experience of going to the doctor's office and being asked to hop up on the table, and they use a wheelchair and can't hop up on the table, and it's not accessible to them. And so those real life experiences that help us identify where really the big issues for folks with disabilities when it comes to healthcare and healthcare plans. There's so much work being done around that, around the dual eligibles program that's happening. And so we want to make sure that we're really capturing all the feedback from the community around that so that we can advocate and present that well in the plan.
Another thing, when we talk about these categories, all right, we're dividing them into kind of neat little categories. Well, the truth is that almost all of these issues, are overlap with multiple other issues. And one of the key ones for healthcare is transportation, on whether or not there is actually adequate transportation available for healthcare in your area. So we'd love to hear about that or suggestions about how to make that better.